Hi, I'm Mike McCormick here at GBTA Studios, live in Mexico City, and I'm here with Luis Barrios, the CEO of Hotel Cities Express. Thank you for joining us, and thank you for being here
Thank you very much
today.
for the invitation.
So, exciting times for your company. You just opened your 150th hotel. You've been, on average, opening is this right, a new hotel every 6 weeks since 2003.
That's right.
That's an amazing pace of new openings. Clearly part of an orchestrated plan. How did you pull that off? I mean, what do you attribute your success to?
I think that initially the main thing is that we had a very strong team from the beginning. We had 5 persons that we started the company, 5 of us, and we all came from industry, different areas.
Right.
And we were able to assemble this team and then design a company which it's a rare animal today for today's standards. We are still an integrated hotel company.
Right.
By that I mean that we are the creators of our brands, the creation, the design of our distribution platform, as well as management. We design the standards, so we build the properties, design the properties, structure the deals, and supervise the construction.
Right.
So that is what has permitted us to be able to engage in this pace.
Yep.
And be able to turn out this amount of properties in such time.
Yeah, I mean, it's really a terrific entrepreneurial story. I mean, and also, I know with your brands, I mean, you've really tried to focus on a real value proposition, for this region, for this markets, and one that's clearly resonated because you've the success you've had. When you're thinking about your brand and as it relates to business travelers, and what do you really put out? What do you think the big parts of your value proposition are most important? What are you really focused on with your brand?
I think we're a very basic proposition. We tried when we started the company. We view the market, and the market was really made of a lot of independent hotels, without an image and without a brand and distribution platform. So we decided to go and develop a property that could provide a lot of value for the traditional business traveler of that time.
Right.
With a international standards, as well as the most important aspects of the service to them, to the business traveler, right. But with a very important characteristic, which was an affordable price. So we tried to design a modern property with modern services, with the traditional service of cleanliness, location, etc., and add or design the property in such a way that could be profitable at an affordable price. That was back in those days, it was around $55.
Right.
And that it was modern. It tried to be modern. Would you say, we didn't have the millennial back in those days.
Right.
So,
right.
But we had this young guy that was really the business traveler, the warrior of the traveler
right.
business, and we wanted to cater to him and make it easy
right.
and seamless.
Right.
And I think in the end it worked,
right.
and that was a surprise.
Well, and there's certainly challenges in starting from scratch, but also opportunities, like you said, in terms of creating a platform and a proposition where you're really starting with a blank sheet of paper, to use the expression, right?
That's right.
And so when you look forward, and look at your proposition and as it continues to evolve, what things are you focused on, in the future now for what parts of the proposition? What new elements do you see that you have to bring?
Well, this again, in the meantime,
yeah.
from 2003 to today, the technology started to really impact
right.
the industry.
Very
and
much.
The other major change that we saw and that we felt, we were not predicting too much forward. We were just concentrating in
right.
getting the mill to move, no?
Right.
But then we felt the change in the consumer pattern.
Right.
Really, in other words, translated into 2 words, we had the lifestyle of the customer being ahead of the traditional things that they were looking.
Okay.
And you couldn't segment by age, schooling, job, income, etc.
Yeah, not in the same
you
way
had
you could.
to. That's
right.
right. So we
right.
moved towards lifestyle.
Right.
So we put a mark on, a check
Okay.
on it.
Okay.
And then the second one was the technology, how was impacting distribution, operations, and that consumer.
Right.
So we concentrated in that during the life of city. And that is a major change that we really moved towards personalization.
Right.
Even, I would say, at the same time it was happening in the US. So we started to shift and move our product towards that. So today you find a City Express that is in the 5th generation
Right.
since it started.
Right.
It started with more Danish, simple, modern approach, minimalistic.
Right.
And today you find it more like in a homey style,
Right.
and trying
Okay.
to merge what was the dining room and the lobby together with probably restrooms, I mean areas for resting and reading
Right.
and working.
Right.
Now you find that all of those areas are merged together in something that you don't know whether it's a place to have dinner, luncheon, or working, or having a drink.
And depending on time of day or need, it changes.
That's right. So
Yeah.
now,
Yeah.
so we try to personalize our product, and at the same time support it with a lot of technology.
Right. Well, I mean, I look at the tools today, and even how people, how you communicate or reach, potential customers and your current customers. I mean, that now the capabilities to do that, it's changed completely. You know, social media, et cetera. But and the way that people communicate. But it's also, I would think, for a company like yours, an advantage, because I would argue it'd be very difficult 10 years ago to reach customers then the way you can now. Like,
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely, what technology has done for us is that
It's like levels the playing field.
it opened.
Yeah.
Well,
A
it
bit,
levels. I mean,
right.
there's a huge companies out there in the U.S. market, which is our most important market for the international traveler.
Right.
So, but at least it got it near.
Right.
Near at a more affordable price.
Right.
Or cost.
And an
to
ability to
access
segment.
them.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Now, in the process of moving towards the consumer and trying to personalize, we were able to launch 4 different brands, 4 additional brands,
Right.
a variation of City Express.
Right.
Just a couple of months ago, we relaunched City Express Plus, which is the same concept with much more design for a little bit higher price or higher ADR. And we introduced that a year and a half or so ago, and now we have 17 properties, and they are working really well.
Yeah, I mean, the other part that I find fascinating with hotel groups is the almost seemingly, inexhaustible need, like, for these lifestyle brands that are evolving, right? And kind of creating spin-offs of your master brand. But there's a real appetite for that. I would think you would create in some ways. There's so many brands out there, but it seems to be really working in the marketplace.
It's working, and again, the two, in the essence of the brand, or the DNA of our brand, it's this part of trying to cater very closely to the appetite and the needs of the consumer, but always keeping the rate at an affordable price for such product.
Right.
So
it still comes back to the
because sometimes you start to personalize your product, and then you start investing too much, and then you're out of the traditional market that you were aiming at.
Right.
And that is something that in City Express, it's a discipline that we have very well embedded.
Right. There's some good other brand analogies in the marketplace. I mean, maybe Southwest Airlines being one, for example. I mean, they probably, in some ways, they've really had to manage their brand to stay true to their core audience, right? And maybe in some ways give up. You might give up opportunities, but at the same time, you really stay true to your core proposition.
That's right. We don't want to miss that floor. Put the feet on the ground.
So, looking ahead next year or so, what are you excited about? What's to come?
Definitely, we will continue to keep the growth pace at the same pace that we are coming. We should open somewhere between 14 and 16 properties during the year in core markets of Mexico. But now we're cherry picking the markets, probably in these moments of certain uncertainty, and movements in the world. You get to see it, the Brexit, the free trade agreement with the U.S. We have not a new president in the U.S., but definitely a different one.
Yes.
And now we have a new president, a different one
right.
in Mexico. So what we are taking it, trying to consolidate, to take this couple of years to consolidate and keep on growing with very specific markets.
And we were talking a bit earlier, but the political environment is just that. The good news is that seemingly the travel underpinnings, the core demand in the marketplace seems to be still strong and strong for the foreseeable future. So the good news is, business-wise, the beat goes on, right?
Yeah, probably it's more on the financial side.
Yeah.
No? Keep your balance sheet clean, low debt, profitable, and not take it easy, but go back to basics
right.
and think twice what you're going to do next years, in the coming years.
Maybe some good advice for all, right? Well, thank you very much for joining me here today.
No, thank you very much.
All right.
Thank you.
Luis Barrios, CEO of Hotels City Express, and I'm Mike McCormick, live from GBTA Studios here in Mexico City.